A trade opportunity may have just come up that would be absolutely perfect for the Boston Red Sox. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and yesterday a story came out that there were multiple players on the Chicago White Sox who privately have requested a trade away from the team. Now, the Chicago White Sox are currently 32-43, and as we get closer to the deadline here, it's looking more and more likely that the Chicago White Sox are going to be legitimate sellers at the MLB trade deadline. And there's one person right now on the Chicago White Sox that I think would be an absolutely perfect fit for the Boston Red Sox. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to break down who that is, why that makes so much sense for this Red Sox team. We're going to be talking about what the cost to get that player here would look like, and we're going to talk about if this trade is even possible. But before we get into that, just a heads up, right around 7:30 tonight, we are going to be live on this channel, not only checking out the Red Sox taking on the Twins to try and increase that win streak, but we're also going to be giving away a couple of summer Red Sox items presented by Foco. Foco was kind enough to supply us with a couple of items to give away, so we are going to be giving those away in tonight's stream, again right around 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. The player that I want to focus on today from the Chicago White Sox as a trade target for the Red Sox is Dylan Cease. And I know what you're thinking, and that's why I titled this video a crazy trade, because it would be an absolutely insane trade, and it's one that is a bit of a long shot, but Dylan Cease just makes too much sense on the Red Sox to not talk about it. This year, Dylan Cease is struggling a bit on the mound. He does have a 4.22 ERA in 16 starts with a 4.01 FIP and a still above average ERA plus at 1.04, so about 4% above league average production, even with a bit of a higher ERA in terms of Dylan Cease standards. Even with Dylan Cease's high ERA, though, he is still going to be the third lowest starter ERA on the Red Sox and would still be tied for the third highest ERA plus on the Red Sox as a starter. But that's not what I want to focus on when we're talking about Dylan Cease. What I want to talk about is what he did last year, because last year in 2022, Dylan Cease made 32 starts and came in second for AL Cy Young voting, and it was because of a stat line of a 2.20 ERA with a 1.82 ERA plus. That's right, in 32 starts, Dylan Cease was 82% above league average production compared to the average pitcher in Major League Baseball. He also had a 3.10 FIP, so a bit of a higher FIP, but still, that is still really great numbers from a ace caliber pitcher like Dylan Cease. And to really hammer home this point, take a look at Dylan Cease's Baseball Savant page from 2022, where there were quite literally only two categories where Dylan Cease was below league average in terms of percentiles in. The first one was walk rate, and he's always kind of struggled with his command, and the second one was his extension. Outside of those two measurable metrics, every other measurable metric for Dylan Cease in 2022 was well above league average and close to the top of the league in many categories. Dylan Cease is an ace caliber pitcher that the Red Sox could slot into this rotation this year, and he would be a top of the line starting pitcher. In fact, over Dylan Cease's 5 years, if you include 2023 in Major League Baseball, Dylan Cease has a 3.66 ERA with a 1.17 ERA plus and a 3.93 FIP. So over his last 5 years as a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball, he's been about 17% above league average production when it comes to starting pitching. And again, this is a guy who the Red Sox could very easily slot into this rotation, and at the bare minimum, he's your number 3 starter right now, which would be absolutely fantastic to this Red Sox rotation, especially now that you're missing Chris Sale and Tanner Houck's going to be out for an extended period of time. But one of the better things, in my opinion, about trading for Dylan Cease, it wouldn't only affect the 2023 season. Dylan Cease is under arbitration right now, currently getting paid $5.7 million. You could trade for him right now and still maintain your status under the luxury tax. On top of that too, he's still cost controlled for the next 3 years. He's not an unrestricted free agent until the 2026 season, giving the Boston Red Sox 2.5 years of a cost controlled ace caliber pitcher, which would be absolutely perfect for the Boston Red Sox. So even if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, why are we making trade videos if I don't want the Red Sox to be buyers at the deadline, right? Because there are a big majority of fans that don't want the Red Sox to buy at the deadline. This wouldn't only affect the 2023 Red Sox, this would affect the Red Sox teams for the next couple of years. So even if you don't want the Red Sox to be buyers, this doesn't necessarily have to be a trade that pushes the Red Sox forward in the 2023 season. This is a trade, in my opinion, that not only does it help the 2023 Red Sox, it's also going to help the Red Sox for years to come. Imagine a rotation for the next couple of years that's highlighted by a top two of Cease and Bayo, whatever order you want to put those guys in, followed by Whitlock as your number 3, and then Cutter and Tanner sort of rounding out this rotation on top of getting whatever you get from Chris Sale. That's a legitimate contending starting rotation that the Boston Red Sox desperately need and haven't really had over the last couple of years. Dylan Cease, again, isn't just a piece for 2023, he's a piece for the next couple of years as well. So in my mind, when we're talking about who the Red Sox should target at the deadline, Dylan Cease just makes too much sense. But the big question, and honestly the big problem here, is what is it going to cost to get Dylan Cease to the Red Sox, and is it even possible? In terms of what it would cost the Red Sox to get Dylan Cease in a Red Sox uniform, I use Baseball Trade Values or Baseball Trade Simulator to figure out that cost. Now, that site isn't exactly a perfect science and they are a little bit wonky sometimes, but this should give you a good idea as to what Dylan Cease's value for the Red Sox would look like. And what you're probably looking at is at the bare minimum 2 top 10 prospects in the Red Sox farm system. In this case, specifically, I went with Ceddanne Rafaela and Mikey Romero. If the Chicago White Sox are truly going to go into a bit of a rebuild here in the next couple of years, Ceddanne Rafaela is a guy who could come up pretty quickly and join an MLB team, while Mikey Romero is still a few years off, so you're getting that benefit in the next couple of years. And then on top of that too, you're probably also going to have to include a couple of mid-level prospects. Now this could change a little bit. You could do one more high-level prospect. Maybe you could trade this out for a guy on the Major League roster, but either way, I went with 2 mid-level prospects in the Red Sox system, one of them being Walter, who again is a guy who over the next couple of years could be pretty quick to join an MLB team, and then Bonacci, who again, like Romero, is a guy who could take a little bit of time to be MLB ready. So if you're looking at what the Chicago White Sox need in the next couple of years, especially if they're going into rebuild mode, you're getting 2 prospects who could possibly benefit this team over the next couple of years, and then you've got 2 prospects who could help this team out further down the line. So in my opinion, when you're looking at what it's going to cost the Boston Red Sox, bottom line, this again is not the perfect package in my opinion, but it's probably going to cost 2 top 10 prospects as well as 2 or equal value of 2 mid-grade prospects, which is a really steep price for the Boston Red Sox. But again, when you're looking at the cost of getting Dylan Cease versus what you need on this Red Sox team, it still makes a lot of sense to me, right? You're getting a guy who's cost controlled, who the Red Sox have been kind of looking for, right? You're still staying under the luxury tax, and you're getting a guy who's a top of the line starting rotation pitcher who could complement Brayan Bello. Again, another thing that the Red Sox have been looking for over the last couple of years. Now, the Red Sox could also just wait until the 2024 or 2025 off seasons and pick up a top of the line starting pitcher, as there are a couple within free agency over the next couple of years, or they could just get it done right now. Now, when it comes to whether or not this trade is even possible, that's the bigger question, right? If I'm the Chicago White Sox, I'm probably looking to sell off expiring contracts first. Guys who are going to be free agents this year or next year that are more loaner type pieces where they can get prospects for a quick flip there, and I'm probably holding Dylan Cease pretty close to the vest. But if I'm in charge of the Boston Red Sox, I'm at the very least making this phone call. It's definitely worth looking into. It all comes down to whether or not the Chicago White Sox want to part with a piece like Dylan Cease, who is going to be a bit of a piece on the Chicago White Sox for a little bit of time. So in my opinion, whether or not it's possible, I honestly don't know. I think it's, again, a very, very long shot, even if he is available, for the Red Sox to pull the trigger on this. But I just think it makes too much sense for not only the 2023 season, but the future of the Red Sox as well, for the Red Sox to not even look into it. But that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think of this trade? Is it absolutely crazy? Is it something that you're sitting there like, Corbin, what are we talking about here? Or does it make a little bit of sense? Are you like, huh, that could work? Let me know what your thoughts are on the Red Sox targeting Dylan Cease at the MLB trade deadline. Let me know all your thoughts on this topic in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Also, don't forget, we are going to be live at 7:30 tonight. We're doing the FOCO giveaway and watching the Red Sox take on the Minnesota Twins. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.